Let's go ahead and bring in Steiner Sports CEO, Brandon Steiner.
One of the country's top memorabilia mogul.
I have an unbelievable guest, Brandon Steiner.
Brandon's second to none.
I told you we'd be back, and we are back. And not only are we back, but we're back with something special. This is not a normal person, nor do I expect anybody to come into this studio that's normal. I mean, Lord knows I'm not normal. Anyway, I have met this man a bunch of times. He's extremely generous. I know he's got a big heart, but I'm still trying to figure out exactly what he does because he does so many different things. Project X, Jim Kaplan. Somehow I feel like this show has, that's why I wanted you to come in. We have this connection, but we got to take a few minutes to explain who you are, what you do, and take your time because there's a bunch of things you do, and I love the way you connect the dots on a lot of them. So, and then you brought in a little show and tell. I like that.
Yeah, no problem. Brandon,
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. Thank you for everybody listening in and watching. So basically, I founded Chasella about 6 years ago. And what we do is we run three different independent divisions that all sort of intersect and cooperate with one another. And basically what we do is one division is real estate development, right? So we've got residential and commercial development projects that are always going on. That's sort of my history, my family's history, before 2010. And, in 2011, when I started Chasella, which incidentally is named after my two kids, or at least my two kids at the time, were
Nice.
Chase and Ella.
How many kids do you have now?
We have three now.
All right,
So
three's nice. Three's company.
Is that
Keeps you
enough? Is that
busy.
enough? Because my wife, I think, is pushing for 4.
I think if you have the money and the time, most importantly, to take care of the kids and your wife's game, that's a key factor. Then I think, keep going. My wife is like, I'm done after 2. I mean, there's nowhere else to talk about. But I think we both agreed that if we had a little more knowledge that we were going to have the time and also the resources to raise our kids the way we wanted to, I think we would have 3 or 4. You
And
agree
again,
with that?
I agree with it. I just turned 40 a couple days ago, so
You're
that
young.
that I don't know. Some may call that young, some may call that not quite as young.
It was old back when we were kids, but 40, people getting married at 40. And there's, I got friends that have kids at 50.
Right.
That's a little weird, by the way. I don't care what anybody says. I don't know about having kids at 50. It's tough, but they seem to be doing it and no, don't miss a beat. But anyway, I didn't mean to get you off track.
No problem.
Yeah.
So we've got the real estate bucket, right? And then I knew I had a big, interest in the startup world. So 2011, I started learning everything I could about the startup ecosystem, different founders, the different convertible notes, and the different ways to structure different investments, and really just got some key introductions from some real good connectors here in the city.
Now, is startup really just another word for entrepreneur? But
Yeah,
you need a name for entrepreneurism, so that's a startup.
Yeah, a startup could be any company that's in their early growth stage or just getting started.
Now, how'd you have the money? Did you have a bunch of friends to put a pool of money together? Did you have family that kind of put together some money to have you get these startups going?
Yeah, so initially it was smaller investment amounts. They were going into companies that I really liked. But really what I led with was my time. And that's why sort of this hourglass, comes with me today, because I think there's a lot of people who are listening who say, I don't have $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 to put into other people's businesses. I'm still running my own business, or I'm trying to get my business off the ground, or I need to work 9 to 5 or 8 to 8 just to support my family. But you've always got some other time that you can find that you can give to another company because you have a supreme interest in what they're doing. So let's say you hear about somebody building a great company and you think it's going to be the next big thing in that industry. You can reach out to them. Say you have an interest in sports management, sports memorabilia. You reach out to a company like Brandon Steiner. You say, you know what? I don't have money to invest in Steiner, and I don't want to necessarily invest in your parent company, but I have time. How can I help you? My expertise is in social media, or it's in, this type
Marketing,
of
promotion, accounting.
Right, and I have a lot of followers. I don't really know how to, generate any revenue from them, but I know I have some extra time. I know I love what you do. how can we get involved? How
So
can
you
we work
just went.
together?
You went to startups and basically said, "Look, I don't have necessarily have a lot of money, but I can help you. I have time on my side. I can help you grow your business." Because when people are getting started, the one thing they don't have is time. They're short on time. They're short staffed. They need help. Is that what you're preying on?
Yeah, I mean, we're not preying on it, but I mean, you know, you're looking
Or taking
for,
advantage of? I mean, you're trying to find a hole for you to fit in. No?
That's it.
Yeah.
You're looking for, you know, a duo, or a trio of founders who inevitably have gaps in their skill set. And if you can fill those gaps for them where they're not outlaying capital, then you're very valuable to them.
You have an example of like a company you've done that with that you could talk about?
Yeah, I mean, we've done it with tons of companies. You know, and at this stage, you know, and so initially it was a smaller capital investment, and then we just infused them with so much goodwill and so much help that they appreciate it, and that led to other things, right? That created a snowball effect with other companies. But, you know, even now what we do is we do sort of a cash and in-kind services program where we're putting in, you know, some good faith capital because we want to have a vested interest in the company. But our team is really supporting those companies more than just a passive investment. It's really tied to our future performance in that company.
I think a big mistake that a lot of young startups make is that they think that they need the money, and they create partnerships based on the money as opposed to partnerships that can help them increase the size of the roof over their head. I think anytime you use the P word, if it's about money, you're probably headed down. If you just do a partnership based on money, you're probably down the wrong path. You got to have, if you're going to have a partner, it's got to be somebody that makes you bigger, better, stronger, smarter. Those are the things you look for in a partner. And then if you can get some of the financial support with it, which you probably will get because you'll be bigger, better, stronger, faster, that's how it kind of works. But most people think that you sell or merge in with another company for the money. Like, I never did that for the money. I just felt like Omnicom was a great opportunity for me to grow Steiner. They were going to give me the support. They'd make me bigger, faster, smarter, get into doors I never thought I'd get into. And they came and basically said, it's funny you said it, because they came and said, we think we can help you grow. So if you want to make a lot of money and that's all you care about, or you just want the money and going, we're not the company for you. We're interested in best in category. We can get you there and keep you there and grow. That's what Omnicom is all about. You know, they're all best in categories. That's why they are what they are. But that's a great point I think you raised, and I think a lot of people get misguided because they think it's all just about raising the money, as opposed to finding good partners that are interested in their business and interested in helping them grow.
Right, right. And I've got family members, friends. They say, Jim, I don't have the capital to deploy the way you're doing at this point. You know, we've had some success on the real estate end. We've had some success on the startup end. And they're asking me, you know, how do I get involved? Because I'm not able to fire those bullets that you're able to. You know, I have to run my business all day. What do I do? And I said, you know, you're always coming to me with some different small businesses that you'd like to get involved with, you'd like to invest in. But instead of leading with that foot, lead with the other foot. Go to them and say, you know, you're running a good operation, but is it really efficient? Or my expertise is in efficiency. So maybe I can help you guys, you know, generate a little bit more margin on your business. And then if there's a fit later on, we can work something out, you know, and maybe there's a partnership that could develop. But right now you've got that extra time, devote it to somebody else because they're going to appreciate it and they'll pay it forward to you.
I agree. If you got a question for Jim and myself, entrepreneurial idea, you can Facebook message right below, and we'll start taking some calls in a few minutes. So don't hesitate. This show is as much for you as it is for us. And if you got some questions for Jim or you got a product you want to talk about, please, all you do is Facebook in your phone number and we'll call you. I got my crack assistant here, Ben, who's running the show, running the board. He'll dial you right up. You're a serial entrepreneur, though. Are you living this 24/7? Are you always looking for that next idea? Can you not walk down the street without thinking, man, that store there or that idea, or I saw that product? Can you walk into a store and be free?
No, I mean, probably to a fault. I'm always thinking about the next startup, the next innovation, the next new company, the next company I want to get involved with. My wife will attest to the fact that I probably spend too much time on those little devices that we walk around with all day, but I'm trying to get better with that. But yeah, I mean, there's always somebody else innovating in a new way. And you know, the great thing is when you can discover them first, or you discover them early.
Here's my tip, though. I never take my phone with me on date night. So when I go out for dinner with my wife, I never take my phone, which is sometimes a couple nights a week. When we go out on Saturday and Sunday afternoons, I'm with her. I never take my phone with me. That's a start. Right. So I don't even get into the whether I'm going to go on there, and I just don't take it with me because I don't trust myself. I know I'm going to go to the bathroom. I know I'm going to be under the table. So I already have about 8 or 10 hours, I think, where I'm not even have the phone accessible. Mm-hmm. It's a start. Right. I figured on a Friday night, if I can't put that phone down for 3 hours, shame on me. I have to shut that down. That's over. Now, I got a little crazy the last couple weeks. My wife said, really, you've become quite the typer. So that's pretty much what I've been watching you do the last 3 days. So that kind of gave me a little bit of a reset. Because usually I've been pretty good. And then I got a little crazy because, I'm tweeting. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. I'm all over this stuff. What's funny is that I'm on Twitter yesterday. And I want to ask you this question because somebody tweeted me yesterday, and it wasn't chitty chat. He said, Brandon, if you could talk to yourself 30 years ago, what would you say? I was like, damn, that's a problem question. Great question. So I gave a quick little answer, and then about 5 hours later, it hit me. And I had to tweet back at that person because I rethought about the answer. But what would you say to yourself 30 years ago? Because I think it's really important because there's a lot of young people out there watching, whether they're young in age or young in business with all the experience you have. What would you tell your young self?
I would say, start thinking outside of the box as early as you can. Don't let anybody sort of restrain your ability to think creatively. I think definitely, it's never too early to start networking, whether it's finding a new mentor or just, looking up to different people in different industries and trying to connect with them. Never too early to do that, especially in this day and age with the tools that we have, available to us. I was told to keep a very low profile for most of my life. And now it's only been the past couple of years that I've had to sort of flip the switch and become more of this outward-facing, corporate, entrepreneurial, sort of image. And it's a totally different mentality, totally different track, and you need to start, speaking to more people and getting into speaking engagements and things like that. And I think 30 years ago, I would just say, be prepared to network, be prepared to find some great mentors that'll help you along the way, and just keep an open mind.
Love that. Good advice. I'm asking all of you, if you were to talk to yourself 30 years ago, what would you say to yourself? If you're a little bit older, or 10 years ago, 20 years, what do you talk to your younger self like? What would you say? I think the first thing I would say is, Brandon, you got to get the eating together. I wish I would have known at 20, 25, when I was working out every day, running around, and I was skinny as a rail. I wish I really understood how all that worked. I would have definitely taken better care of my feet. And I think the most important thing is patience. I wish I would have and they mentioned that to me. I was like, please, I got balls, but I'm busting through that door. But I wish I would have just maybe taken it a little slower at some points and just, breathe a little bit, enjoy the view, enjoy the romance of, dating my wife, enjoy that period of time more than, man, we got to get married and we're going to, kind of not rush. So, but eating, God, I wish I knew then what I know now about just eating. We got a caller on the line. Ben, who's on the phone?
We got Patrick, who's got a mobile app that needs some exposure.
Patrick, you there? Patrick? Hey, how are you? Jim Kaplan, Brandon Steiner, we're here, Project X. Thanks for phoning in. Love to hear about your idea. You're on. Tell me what your story is.
Well, pretty much I built a sports app called Burn and Bet. Yes.
Who's the app for, and why did you build it?
Well, it was, how did I build it? Is that what you said?
I said, why did you build it, and who's the app for?
Oh, I built it because I had a thought in my head, and I give credit to God for that, because I know I'm not Einstein, and I don't just sit around and bubble up equations because I'm bored. And the thought for the app was really tremendous. So I started researching and what makes a good app, what makes a bad app, all that good stuff. About a year later, I went and started finding funding for things and got it all together and got it built. The app's been live for about a year and a few days now, and we're in 44 states and 26 different countries.
What's the app?
But I need more.
What's the name of it?
I need more. It's called Burn and Bet.
Okay. And who is this app for?
It's for any sports fan in the entire world.
Okay. Well, I'm a sports fan. Why would that app be for me?
I'm sorry, you broke up.
I was saying I'm a sports fan. Why is that app for me? Tell me about the app. Like, why? How would that be applicable to me? I'm a big sports fan.
Well, one thing is I simplified tracking your teams. Once you load up your teams in your profile, the app will actually track it for you. So you can hit one button, and that will take you to your favorite team. Say if the Yankees are your favorite team, which I think they are, you can hit one button, and it'll take you to the Yankees schedule and show you nothing but the Yankees schedule. And it's got live up-to-the-minute scores. So if a game was going on right now, you could see what the scores was. You can see past scores and all that. And if you're a junkie, you can hit another button, and it'll show you the entire league schedule on who's playing, when they're playing, and that also provides scores for any game that's in progress or has finished. Now, one thing I did is you can tap on any game, and it will take you to a private chat room. And this chat room is designed to bring the two fan bases together to let them, talk trash and have fun with each other with nothing else in the way. I also put a social feed on this app called the Trash Feed. And the only thing allowed on it is sports content and trash talking. So what I'm finding out is people love this platform because there's no politics involved. There's no Hollywood drama involved. If people get to be who they are, there's no political correctness in trash talking. And people absolutely love that.
Patrick, so it's Jim. So basically, best as I can understand, you've aggregated a lot of different functions that one could find on MLB or ESPN or somewhere else on a different app, and you've aggregated into one place so that we don't have to go to multiple places to find all this information. Is that basically what it is?
Correct.
How many people are on your app right now?
We are at 1,100.
So you're just getting started.
Yes, sir.
I assume it's free. It's free?
Yes, sir. It's free, and it's on Android and iTunes.
Colleges, pro, everything?
No, right now it's just the big four and pro, NFL, NBA, and MLB, and NHL. But I am currently building version 2 of the app where we're adding NCAA, football, basketball. We're adding soccer, MMA, Canadian Football League, and a whole bunch of other sports that the app's actually going to track for you.
That's cool.
And Patrick, is the team yourself, or is there any other team members working on this with you?
Pretty much I'm a solo gig right now. The people that do help me, I farm out.
What's the next stage for you? I mean, financially, what's holding you back? What's stopping you from moving to the next step?
Well, nothing's stopping me, and nothing will stop me. I can guarantee you that. I'm a friggin' bulldog. If I want it done, it's going to get done. It might take me a minute to get there, but there's nothing that I can't get over. There's nothing I can't get around, and there's nothing I can't get under or through. But I tell you guys, my biggest hurdle that I'm having trouble with is just getting the exposure out. We're learning Facebook ads and how to run ads and things like that. But just getting out there and getting the exposure and letting the world know that there's this awesome platform that you can go and be yourself and have fun, what sports was intended for. In my opinion, it brings it all to what sports was actually intended for, and it was to have fun. It was to have enjoyment in life. Sports wasn't designed and created in the early days of man to bring more stress to your life.
Patrick, the biggest advocate that you probably have on your team right now is your 1,100 users. And if you can figure out who are the most engaged of those 1,100 and reach out to them and get them to sort of be, sort of the next advocate, the next, sort of social leader for you that can help you spread the word and get more engagement and more users, that's probably the stage you're at. So if you can find, out of those 1,100, even if 300 are active and you can find, 10 or 12 to help
influencers, 5, you could end up, I know it sounds kind of trivial, but we look for this at Steiner every day. Are there 5 people that have huge influence that you maybe can spark to go and share and post? And I'm a big fan of the contest also. People love to win, especially when there's sports environments. So you kind of put that out to give people a chance to win, the ones that like and share. We're in the same boat. I mean, we're a little further along, but we got a pretty decent following. But I'm constantly in my warehouse liking, sharing, giving away stuff, just getting the word out. And, I call it kind of ethically bribing people. But, we think we have a good product. We think it's something that people want. I'm asking people to go out of their way to go share that with their friends and their following. I mean, I have to offer them something to do that. I think also, you can find some sports bloggers that are influencers in their own right, talking about your idea. And, especially when there's controversial stuff going on, like right now with the knee, with all the injuries in the NFL. Is the NFL up or down? It's a hot topic. It's made it to the front part of the news. These are topics when you want to start asking some questions, yourself to get your platform going, possibly try to get an athlete or some kind of celebrity to weigh in on your platform, and then try to then boost that, then boost those posts with Facebook and spending a little bit of money, and then doing some contests and that kind of thing. But one of the things I love doing on my platform is just asking questions and then responding to them and trying to give people some insight and getting the conversation going, especially when you got meaningful topics like what's going on now. But the good news is you don't need money. You probably could use a partner of some sort if you can figure out one that maybe could use this app and use this platform to work onto their platform. That's not a crazy way to go. There are a lot of different sports platforms that don't have your mechanics, and that's something to think about as well. Who can help you? Who has a big sports following, but they really need more content, because you're bringing content to the table. And last time I checked, when I was a kid, cash was king. Now content is king, and cash has slid down the line there because people want content. And it sounds like you have it. I'd focus on what Jim was saying. I focus on your friends. Definitely ethically bribe them any way you can, and then but also challenge them with creating conversations and contests and stuff like that. And then also, then you come in with a little bit of money behind that, whether it be for the contest to boost some of that conversation and bring it a little wider. That's what I would recommend. But I like your idea. I mean, I go to ESPN for all my intel. Where do you go?
Yeah, usually ESPN.
Yeah, I go to ESPN.com. They got it all. So I think it is important you get the college and some of the other odd sports, because, I go to ESPN, but it's got it all. And I want my WNBA scores. I want my college scores. I look at some quirky scores, and then they have their stories. So I'd love you to find some sports bloggers to come on there and put some stuff regularly as well. I'm happy if you want to repost some of my blogs. I don't do them all sports, but some of my sports blogs would fit right onto the platforms. Immediately when you told me that, I told my right hand here, Jake, I said, we got to go on that platform and post some of our sports blogs. The things that, especially when I go on my rants about what I think is wrong with MLB, which is, I don't know. I mean, the games are just so long. I've given these suggestions about, the clock, bringing in relievers to start the game. It's like, I want relievers to start the game, bring my starting pitcher in the 4th inning, and then I don't have to sit there in the 7th and 8th inning watching the 2nd and 3rd tier pitchers. Call it whatever you want. My starter's gone, and I'm sitting there wondering if this game's ever going to end. Just saying. I put 2 first bases on first base. These guys don't keep colliding. Hello? I mean, shit like that. It's just, it's not that freaking hard, to go fix this thing. And I definitely done with the conferences. Unless these guys are spotting incredibly beautiful women in the stands, because I think that's what they're talking about. There's no way there's anything else to talk about. They keep meeting. They must be spotting something in the stands or talking about what they're doing later on. I mean, how many times can you go out to the mound and talk? And a lot of these guys don't speak English. Like Sanchez goes out to talk to Tanaka. Neither one of them speak English. I mean, what could they possibly be talking about? I mean, really. I mean, he doesn't speak great English. Tanaka doesn't speak. I mean, what are they talking about? It drives me crazy. But anyway, see, that's the kind of stuff we need on your platform. Just, some ideas like that. By the way, there's way too much traveling. I get rid of these interleague games. That's bullshit. Too much traveling. There should be day-night doubleheaders, or bring back the twilight doubleheader and give these baseball players a couple of days off. Another pet peeve of mine. These guys are probably tired. If they were refreshed, the games would probably go quicker. All MLB teams should have 1 day off a week, by the way. 1 day off a week, no question. It's ridiculous. How do you play 40 games in a row? It's ridiculous.
Mr. Steiner, I'm definitely not one that just takes, and I appreciate you offering to put me on the blog and then talk about it some more and things like that. And if there's ever anything that I can do to collaborate with you, I would be more than happy to.
Well, definitely. We'll hook up offline. We're definitely sending you some blogs. We're going on your app today. We're posting. We're going to get that rolling. We're going on that blog today. That's a good. I mean, I got a free forum to go talk about what's on my mind. I mean, who doesn't want to do that?
Well,
if it's constructive, by the way, it's like, just because you have the opportunity to say something, it doesn't mean you have to. Be constructive. I think sometimes when people putting up content, it's like, oh God, I mean, put something up original, put something up that's creative, and that would help. So hopefully you're promoting that as well as people coming on and talking on your app.
Right, exactly. Well, what you talked about, and this is a prime example of the difference between my platform and what's out there already. You was talking about the two pitchers and them not speaking English.
You like that idea, though? Jim, you like that idea? I mean, screw bringing in the damn relief pitchers at the end of the game. Bring them in at the beginning of the game, I say, right? And then bring my starting pitcher in the fourth. Then come the seventh, eighth. You got your ace in there, and then you got your closer if you need them.
Yeah, how much flack would you get for making a comment like that on typical social media?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably people think I'm crazy, but I don't care.
See, and that's the point. You say something like that on my app, you're going to get people laughing.
By the way, I'll tell you another thing I hate. That damn freaking when they all start piling on one side of the field. That's illegal defense. That the NBA, it took them like 30 years to figure out, like, you can't be underneath the basket just hanging out. That's 3 seconds. When they start everybody's on one side of the field, what do they call that? The shift. That's bullshit. Yeah. It's like, that's not how the game was supposed to be played, right? And there should be only so many of these challenges. The challenges are driving me crazy, but the shift, for God's sakes, play your position. That's why the whole field was set up that way. Now, the only thing I would say is, if you want to bring your outfielder in to play the next, all right, you want to give up that? Fine. Now let's see how big you are on your shift. Yeah, play with 2 outfielders now. That's cool. That we used to do when we were kids, and every now and then. But I'm not big on this shift. It's like, it's crazy. I don't want to see my big hitters bunting, trying to hit the ball with it. I want to see them hit home runs and doubles. But the shift is bullshit. Another thing, I can't say these managers. I'm on a roll. These managers. The guy pitches 6 pitches, 1, 2, 3, and what does he do? Takes the guy out. Why? Why are you taking the guy out? Why does that have to be a whole mound and warm up? By the way, the other thing, the guy's warming up for 3 hours out there. He's been hanging out now for 6 hours. The guy is in the freaking bullpen in the locker room. He's getting massages. He's eating a buffet. And now he's first got to come up and warm up for 10 minutes. You come on the field, you get 2 pitches and start pitching. That's it. You're a professional. Start pitching. I don't want to sit there and watch you warm up. Really, you just warmed up. I don't understand that. And how many pitching changes can you have? 6 pitches, you got to take the guy out? Really? Crazy. There's got to be a limit to that. If we're going to move the game along, something's got to change. Did you see the Cub game the other night? I took 3 naps, fell asleep. I thought it was the morning, and the game was still going. And I didn't miss anything. That's what's crazy. That was a phenomenal baseball game that got lost in time. What a shame. My memo to the commissioner, please, really, go back and watch that game. Just take a minute. Oh, no, actually take about 4 hours, not a minute. And you believe me, you'll be out of your mind come the 4th the end of the fourth hour. Pathetic. Great game, though, right? Great game. But how many times, how many reviews, how many huddles? I just want to know what those guys were talking about. That's what I want to get into. I want to know, what are those guys talking about on the mound? They should have microphones on. You know what I mean? So that the audience on TV can listen. That would be fun. What are you doing tonight? Oh, I don't know. What do you think about that? What do you think? I don't know. You think your wife's going to let you out tonight? Do you think you have to get home? Like, what do you think? Do you think that maybe we have curfew after this game? If we end this game quick, or how about maybe we want to throw a strike? I mean, what? God. Anyway, I'm getting kind of fired up tonight for the game. Yankees are playing, and then first of all, talk about disrespect. How do you I'm ready to come on the app. Please put me in, coach. I'm ready to come on your app. I mean, but they put the Yankee game at 5 o'clock and the Cub Dodger. I mean, first of all, the Yankees are playing at 5 and the Cubs are playing at 8? How did that happen? Is there no democracy? I mean, have we lost our minds? The Yankees play at 8. The Yankees play prime time. We've lost our minds. Anyway, I know if you're out there, you're following me. I know you agree. Please, weigh in at your leisure. Because Lord knows I'll be on social media all day. I probably have to get to the game, being this rush hour. I can't get to the game. I probably have to get there like at 1 to avoid the traffic. So I'll just be on my social media, and I'll be at my store today. Yeah, I'm going to be at my store talking about all this today. That's what I'm going to do. I'm even going to work this afternoon. 5 o'clock, why should I go to work? At least I'm not going to be out till 1 in the morning waiting for the game to end. I'm not sure which is worse. Do you miss half a day at work? Or do you stay up till 1 in the morning waiting for the game to end as they put in every conceivable pitcher in the game? Hey, love your app idea. I'm coming on board. I'm going to start today. If you're out there, come on his app. Join. Get on this whole thing about baseball. Let's figure out how we can fix the sport. We're going to use this app and drive right home to Commissioner Manfred. Hopefully he'll get the message and we'll get some things changed at baseball. I got Caesar salad put on the menu in the old Yankee Stadium. I know I can get this changed. I actually did. Hey, thanks for joining us, man. I'm sorry you had to listen to that rant there, but that's you okay. Bring it out on me.
That's why I listen.
That's what that's all about.
Yes.
What's the app again? One more time.
Burn and bet.
All right, love it, man. Keep it going. Hey, do me a favor. Get the colleges up there. I need my college scores.
I'm hoping to have it released by Thanksgiving.
I'm already complaining. Well, okay, let's get it done. As Jim was saying, time is a factor. We don't have a lot of time here. We need those college scores. Hey, good luck with the app. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks.
A lot of apps out there. You an app fan?
Yeah, the more and more productive we can be, and the more information we can absorb, the better off I feel like we are.
Too many apps, though?
Of course there's too many apps. But if you can limit it to just your top 20 or 30 that are the most productive and efficient for you, then I think it's useful.
What's your favorite project you're working on or in the middle of these days? Last time you were up, you were telling me about a bunch of different projects. So I was like one after the other, but what's some of your favorite ones?
There's so many that we work on at one given point in time. I think you met with a company that we're sort of excited about recently. It's a company called Thanks, and it's just one of these companies that has, great founders with...
Love this idea, by the way. He's very modest, but I love that idea. I got to tell you, everybody I've run that idea by, they were like amped up. They loved it.
It's just a great company with great founders with complementary skill sets, which is something we look for. And, they basically the premise of the app is just the most efficient way through an app to say thank you to an employee, to a veteran, to, anyone you can possibly think of that you want to say thank you. Or even just, thank you for meeting with me. Thank you for, being my mentor, whatever it might be. And it's, you can send something as inexpensive as a cup of coffee.
Like you sent me Starbucks for 5 days.
Right.
As a thank you for our meeting the last time, which I thought was cool. So it's Thanks, TNKS.
THNKS.
THNKS, thanks. I love that. So you go to a meeting as a follow-up instead of, hey, by the way, here's a couple of Starbucks for you, or here's a quick little, a pen or a gift or whatever. Love that. I'm thinking for Steiner, it's like you go to a game, send you a game used ball from the game as a thanks. Or, some kind of signed baseball. Hope you're looking forward to my pitch if we meet, that kind of thing. So we're going to have a ton with that app. I love that idea. Now, is that something you're going to get invest in? You're not sure. You're looking at.
I think we're looking at it closely. We're sort of at that discussion point now. I think we want to get a little more engaged with the team there, because we've built out our own team at Chasella, and again, like I said, even the advice that I give is what we practice. We look for any type of gap that another team might be lacking in, and we fill it for them if we can. And
Someone wants to get to you. They've got an idea out there. So many. I hear from so many of you, so thank you. How do they get a hold of you?
You can email me directly. We have an email set up actually specifically for Project X. It's called startups@chasella.com. And Chasella is CHASELLA.com.
How many ideas are people coming to you often? Besides the ones you're coming up with, are people just drowning you with them, or is it a couple here and a couple there?
As you start getting more involved and more engaged with more and more companies, inevitably the deal flow increases. More and more people start approaching you. But, you have certain filters in place and certain feedback that we can give right away. Certain things that we look for, right away. Competitive landscape is important, so if we're talking about Patrick with his Burn and Bet app, something we might not even have a full grasp of is how many competitors are there for you right now. We know about the big players, ESPN, et cetera, but, does Patrick have a good handle on who his competitors really are? And we need to be educated on who they are, do our own diligence and find out, was Patrick right? And how does Patrick fit in amongst that landscape?
All the different ideas you see, it is another great question for people that are watching, is what seems to be some of the typical problems that you see where people have an idea but they're missing X or Y or Z?
I guess the biggest problem is, a lot of people do have the ideas, which is great. That's a big part of it. But then you've got to get enough people with the right skill sets to help you build it and to help you bring it to fruition. I can't just, in most cases, it's not a single entrepreneur. You've got to sort of, if you can't get a couple of co-founders to buy into the concept, then it's going to be difficult to get 1 million users or $1 million worth of, seed funding to get this idea really moving.
Are you seeing entrepreneurism rapid with younger audiences? Because, there's this Generation Z that I've never seen such energy coming from teenagers that are just thinking out of the box. Or then there's a whole nother rule of thumb that's saying that the highest level of entrepreneurs is the experienced baby boomers that are kind of doing this stuff a long time. They have the money and they just want to break out and do it on their own. More people in their 50s. Which are you seeing?
We're seeing the whole gamut. I'm seeing more of the younger people who want to start their own companies, and I'm seeing a lot of successful people, maybe 40, 50, 60s, who want to stay connected to that entrepreneurial vibe, to that innovation. Maybe they're very successful. They've been running their business for 20, 30 years, or they've just been in their business for 20, 30 years, and they look around and they say, I'm not sure we're innovating properly. So they start connecting and reaching out to the younger generation because they want to stay connected to that.
Having fun with what you're doing? Is it more fun, challenging, risky?
It's all the above, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I mean, every morning I get to wake up and decide, which companies we want to help that day. Maybe it's a company that's not doing quite as well. That's where we're going to put our efforts. Or maybe they're starting to really get some traction and start scaling. So we'll pour a little bit of extra fuel on that to help them. So it's great to be able to use these puzzle pieces and decide where we're going to, really plug our energy for the day.
And you're moving around. You're going kind of where the action's needed, and if things are good, then they're good. Yeah. That's fun. Yeah. How many companies right now would you say you're managing over?
I mean, so we're managing over, our 5 or 6 internal companies, and then we've got investments in about 25 other companies, which vary in engagement levels, right? And that varies over the course of time.
What do you do with a couple of I asked Mark Cuban this question, by the way. I was like, Mark, we were doing a breakfast talk, and I said, Mark, don't bullshit me. I mean, how do you manage all these companies? How many do you have, and how many fail? He said he had 200 companies, about. He said 150 is pretty successful, 25 that will never really be successful, but he felt the need because they're just good. They're good for the country. They're good for society. They're just the right thing to do. And he said about 25 out of the 200 probably will lose money or fail. Is that kind of about the right? I mean, if that's his formula, I mean, do you feel? I mean, how do you deal with the failures? Is it? Do you really? Do you realize that's part of succeeding, or is it? Do you not have a lot of that?
That's definitely part of the process, part of succeeding for sure. I think Mark's, if those are his numbers, those are probably far better than average out there, for most investors. But he's got, that clout behind him to help ensure some of the success.
He's sitting there going, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a talk about. I mean, it's like, hello. Where his worst competition is him and Barbara Corcoran fighting over, some great idea that God knows they vetted out 500 to get to that one. Right. 18 producers over there. That's probably a good thing. It's a nice little setup they've got over there. But we're hoping to hear from all you. If you've got any ideas, please Facebook message in, just right below. Message in your phone number. Love to take your calls. We're coming back tomorrow, by the way. Fordham is doing a Shark Tank, and we're going to go through the kids' 5 best ideas tomorrow afternoon at 12:30. If you're interested in that, that's going to be great. We're going to be going to some different colleges around the country in different Shark Tank contests that we've kind of set up. We'll call it Project X contest. And the kids are putting their own contests. We're giving away prizes and stuff, and really just trying to see where some of these different mindsets are around different campuses. So I'm looking forward to that. Tomorrow, our first one with Fordham, a marketing class with John Cirillo. So they're coming up here, and looking forward to looking at their finalists. It's going to be cool. So hopefully you'll join in on that. Anybody has anything, please just send a message, and we'll get you on the show, if not today, tomorrow. And we have a couple great shows. You know who's coming in? Do you know Peter Shankman, great customer service guy? Mm-hmm. He's had some success. He's coming on the show next week. Also a little bit of a serial investor, so he'll be on. And we've got some really good guests coming on as well. Closing remarks, things you want to part with, things that are important to you. I know you do a lot of charity work. Are there some things you do just because it's the right thing, and anything that's hit a chord these days with you?
Yeah, I mean, any time that we can connect that philanthropic side of things to our business or just in doing good. I mean, that's how we met, several years ago.
Yep. Going to help with some kids that were really sick. That was great with Bernie Williams. We're going to do something else, though, as we move towards Thanksgiving. You watch. I got a couple of different ideas. We're going to go blow some people away and make their day, we hope. So hopefully we're going to hit the streets of Manhattan and do something fun. Because I could see we talked about a lot of things that I did. When that idea came up, I could see the eyes. Me too. I get excited about helping people. It's fun.
Yeah. But for everybody watching, I mean, it's just a matter of, getting your knowledge down, do your research, know your competitive landscape, try to find those 1 or 2 other co-founders that you can really build out the team, and then really sky's the limit from there.
Cool. Jim Kaplan, Brandon Steiner, Project X. Thank you for joining. Look for your calls. Phone in, email in, let us know your ideas. Love to have you come in on the show. We'll phone you in, and we'll see you tomorrow with the Fordham kids for their version of their Shark Tank ideas as well. For Project X and everybody here, thank you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.